All right, here we go to watch this video for Tuesday, September 4th, 2018. I'm showing you the SPY. We're basically sitting very close to all-time highs. You guys have been hearing me talk about the low volume market. And really, I've had people who don't trade, say to me, well, why is that relevant? The market's basically sitting at all-time highs. Why does volume matter? And I would say, well, for your 401k, it probably doesn't, right? But for a day trader, you have to have size coming into the individual names, the story stocks, the stocks that are in play. You have to have enough participants as it's knocking down catalysts and taking out recent highs and so on that can actually help propel a stock higher if you trade like I do. So for that reason, it's been a pretty choppy August. And keep this in mind. So now that September is here, is volume going to skyrocket? And it's not that easy. The market's never that easy or that cut and dry. But I do think things are going to start picking up as far as continuations and and volume on reversals and all sorts of stuff. I do think we're going to see more volume coming into the individual setups. And follow along. Watch my videos every day, and I'll certainly talk about what I'm seeing. Here's what I'll be watching on Tuesday. Let me try that again. You ever type something and it doesn't show up where you think, and then you don't know where you typed it? I think somewhere on my computer there's a file of 2,000 things that I typed and realized, hey, it's not where I think, and I think that maybe they just all to go to one place. Who knows? All right, anyway, AOBC, very, very strong day. This is the old Smith & Wesson called American Outdoor Brands now. Huge day there. I've actually got a screenshot here of where Wayne called it right there. I did a video this weekend on entering properly and nailing the entries, right? So check that out if you get time. The video is on my YouTube channel. And this is a great example of it, right? It chopped around. If you watch the video, I go into the exact call and why and so on. But it really, really nice pop there. The entry call by Wayne was 1236. And ended up going, you can't see it in this screen because the day wasn't over yet. I ended up going to 1404, a $1.68 move on 20 cents risk. Not bad, right? Anyway, back to the daily. You never want to join a group of chasers the very next day. Everyone, goes home and does their overnight scans and says, wow, this one's strong. If you buy it right at the open the next day, that rarely works out well. But we'll see if it gives. It certainly deserves being watched, for the next week. Honestly, what I'd love to see is a 2 or 3 day pullback and then another opportunity for a long entry, hopefully with a clean entry like Wayne called on Friday, where we're never red, we're never underwater right after the entry. So timing your entries is everything. Check out that video. VHC, big volume on Friday, ended up selling off and not really closing very strong. But you could argue it gapped up on really good news. I think the news was like Apple can't appeal anymore, and they've got 500 million coming to them from Apple or something on a judgment. Double check that though, because I mostly trade off charts. I want to know the news, but I don't want to end up marrying the news in my heart. So I take the news, kind of with a grain of salt, because sometimes we get emotional and we think this can't go down. That news is so good, and then you catch yourself getting in trouble. So I'm certainly a chart player. But you do have nice support here now from a whole month's worth of support right around $3. So you'd have to suspect, if nothing else, it's going to hold that area. So this one might just turn up on Tuesday. We'll see. RWLK is on watch simply because I've had it on watch like 6 days in a row. So now I'm stuck. I have to keep it on watch. That's better than being stuck in a stock, right? You ever take a stock and it goes down and you average down, or you just hold it until you finally get back to even. That's part of where my trading strategy was born out of. I got tired of being underwater in stocks. So now I'm in cash every night and only take those entries that I talk about in that video. But I've been watching this one, for a volume push through the 200-day here, because you have 1, 2 catalysts above potential targets. And it's holding up pretty well after these big volume here, a little bit lower volume, but still for the stock, relative volume spike here. And now you're putting in a lower high for like 2 weeks straight. So it's like I can't pull it off the watch list, because the minute I do, it'll do something. So I'm going to keep it on the list until it either breaks out or breaks down. Haven't taken a trade in it this whole time, but it doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart. INNT, really big volume for this stock on Friday and closing really strong. Absolutely want to watch that one all week. SPHS had this big volume spike here, then a lower high and a lower high. So we'll see. If I switch to 15s, you can kind of see the big move and then the flag pattern. It's just kind of flagging, right? So who knows if it gets up to this area, 335, something like that. That might be enough to propel it through the most recent high, but we'll keep that one on watch. AFMD, huge move, then a gap up. They got slapped down, then the next day slapped down, then on Friday closing above its open. Definitely want to watch this one for another push higher. INSY had the big breakout on Thursday, and then kind of a quiet inside day on Friday on lower volume. Some buyers came in below 9, certainly worth watching. And then lastly, IGC. I did want to have one of the pot stocks on watch. You had a huge move, and now you've got 2 red days on declining volume. I still think it needs to come in more, but if the pot stocks run, this is a good candidate to watch for a proper setup. And the one that started it all was CGC, and I would point out that thing is holding up pretty darn well, right? And then TLRA, is it, got involved too? Nope, TLRY. I always get those two confused. TLRY, which also very, very strong. So if the pot stocks continue, I'm going to be watching this IGC for a low-risk setup. Going forward, like I said, volume should be coming back. My goal is to create self-sufficient traders, right? I don't want people logging in saying, oh, Mike's sick today, now I don't know how to trade. That's not what I try to do at all. My goal is to create self-sufficient traders. I want people to learn to spot setup, to learn to time their entry, how to scale out, to play defense, to size correctly, all those things. And that's what our chat room and our trading course is all about. So that's my goal. And I'm really, really looking forward to summer being over and hopefully some more steady volume coming in, for lack of a better way to put it. All right. Anyway, down below there's a link to our Labor Day special, but I'm making this video 4:30 on Monday on Eastern time, 4:30 afternoon. I'm only gonna leave it up before I go to bed. I'm pulling it down, so that'll be it. And I don't anticipate any specials probably until the end of the year. So if you like what we do and you want to get involved, check down below because it won't get better than that. I'm done babbling. See everybody on Tuesday.